Hearing my newborn daughter's thoughts right after giving birth, my mother-in-law brought me a bowl of chicken soup. At that moment, I heard my little girl's inner voice. Mom, absolutely don't eat what that hateful old woman brings. She secretly added dirty things to it. And don't believe your husband's sweet words, pretending to be warm and caring. In truth, he's just a scoundrel. The most terrifying person is your sister-in-law. In the future, both you and I will die by her hand. Looking at the bowl of chicken soup in my hand, my whole body trembled. The baby in the bassinet looked around, her little gurgling voice constantly echoing. I'm alive again, but why as a newborn this time? What should I do now? At this age, I can't speak, can't walk, and I'm illiterate. Wah, it's Mom. I finally get to meet my dearest mom. Mom smells so good, Mom is so beautiful. My daughter next to me stared intently at me. I secretly observed her too. After confirming that the words I just heard truly came from her, I began to suspect I was poisoned by eating leftovers my mother-in-law had brought. Otherwise, how could something that only happens in movies and novels be happening to me? Before I could think further, the room door opened. My mother-in-law, smiling, carried a bowl of chicken soup towards me. Clara, I've stewed chicken soup for you to recuperate. Drink it while it's hot. I suppressed my emotions, telling myself it was all an illusion, and reached out to take the bowl of chicken soup from my mother-in-law. My daughter's voice rang out again. My dear Mom, absolutely do not drink that woman's chicken soup. She has definitely put something in it. Put something, poison. Seeing me not moving, my mother-in-law urged, Come on, drink it. It won't taste good once it cools. I mumbled a reply. To be safe, I put the bowl of chicken soup down on the table. Mom, my stomach feels a bit uncomfortable. I don't really want to drink it. How about you drink it for me? I pushed the bowl of chicken soup towards my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law looked at the chicken soup, and her expression suddenly changed. My heart pounded. It turned out there really was something wrong with this chicken soup. When she saw me put the bowl of chicken soup in front of her, my mother-in-law forced a smile, her voice a little awkward. This chicken soup is so greasy, how could I swallow it? I replied with an "Oh. Is that so? If you can't drink it and I can't drink it, how about we just throw it away?" My husband, Liam, who was washing diapers nearby, heard this and quickly spoke up. Why throw it away? That would be such a waste. He chuckled, dried his hands, and walked closer to us. If you two aren't drinking it, I will. As soon as he finished speaking, he quickly picked up the bowl of chicken soup and brought it to his mouth. Seeing my husband about to drink, my mother-in-law panicked and stopped him. You're a man, why would you drink it? Besides, this bowl is specially cooked for Clara. I stewed it for 4 whole hours. She turned to look at me. You too try a little bit. I shook my head. I can't drink even a small sip. My husband clicked his tongue. What's wrong with being a man? It's better than throwing it away, Mom. I'll drink it. My heart suddenly beat faster. Seeing my husband bring the bowl almost to his mouth, I quickly stopped him. Wait. My husband paused and asked, Do you want to drink it? I didn't answer him, only focused on staring at the bowl in his hand. I saw something that looked like snot floating in the bowl. Feeling nauseous, I pointed at the bowl and asked, What's in your bowl? My husband stirred it repeatedly and finally discovered the foreign object. He used a spoon to scoop it up and examined it carefully, then asked his mother-in-law, Mom, what is this? A look of confusion flashed across my mother-in-law's face. She snatched the bowl of soup away hastily. This isn't mung beans. If you don't like it, just throw it away. My daughter's giggling voice rang out immediately after. Ha ha, that's hilarious. Snot, and she calls it mung beans. That old woman doesn't even think before lying. Luckily, my mom is smart. She knew her trick right away. I broke into a cold sweat. It seemed everything was real. I really could hear my daughter's thoughts. And so, my mother-in-law, who was usually very frugal, without a moment's hesitation, dumped the chicken soup directly into the sink. My husband stood there stunned. Oh, why would you throw away such delicious chicken soup? If no one else will eat it, I will. What's wrong with a few mung beans? Mung beans even help clear heat. Muttering, my husband approached me, asking solicitously, My love, you said your stomach wasn't feeling well earlier. Where exactly does it hurt? How about I take you to the hospital now? I quickly explained, It's nothing, I just don't want to eat these oily foods. Just looking at them makes me nauseous. My husband patted his chest, feigning fright, and continued, "It's good that it's nothing. If anything happened to you, I'd feel worse than being cut. How about this? Tell me what you want to eat, and I'll go buy it for you right now." I didn't reply to him because my daughter's voice rang out again. "HMPH, what's that scoundrel trying to pull? Does he really think that just a few sweet words to my mom will make him a warm, loyal hero? Mom, you absolutely must not believe his sweet talk. In fact, right from when Mom was pregnant, he had already." I was curious to know what my husband had done when my sister-in-law, Lucy, just back from school, slammed the door open. "Mom, sister-in-law, I'm home. Let me see my precious niece." My sister-in-law threw her school bag down and ran straight to my daughter. My daughter screamed at this moment. "Ah, don't come near me. Help, Mom, help me. This auntie says she likes me on the surface, but she really hates me. Every time she holds me, she pinches and pokes me, and she even pretends to accidentally drop me. Mom, save me quickly. If you don't save me soon, she'll make me fall to my death." Hearing that, I was horrified. Just as my sister-in-law was about to reach out her hand, I quickly held my daughter tightly in my arms. "Lucy." My sister-in-law flinched at my call, standing frozen in place, her eyes wide with surprise as she looked at me. Seeing my mother-in-law and husband also looking at me that way, I quickly explained, "She just finished feeding. It's not good to hold her now, she might spit up." Then I turned to Lucy. "Lucy, you must have a lot of homework from school, right? Go to your desk and do your work." My husband also chimed in. "That's right, go study quickly. You're already in 3rd grade but always just want to play." Hearing that, my sister-in-law pouted unhappily, then made a face and stuck out her tongue at my husband before quickly running off. After dealing with this, I turned to look at my daughter. Earlier, she had said, when I was pregnant, her dad had already what? So I called my husband over, right in front of my daughter. "My love, do you love me and our child?" My husband chuckled. "Of course I do, of course." Seeing my daughter had no reaction, I continued to ask, "Then honestly tell me, during my pregnancy, did you do anything shady behind my back?" Hearing my question, his expression became serious. He looked deeply into my eyes. "We've been in love for 3 years, married for almost 3. Don't you understand me yet?" I remained silent, my eyes fixed on him. My husband took a deep breath and said, "I swear, I never did anything wrong to you." My daughter suddenly burst out laughing. "Never, hilarious. Actually, when Mom was pregnant, Dad secretly." I opened my eyes wide, trying to listen. I was extremely curious to know what my husband had secretly done when I was pregnant. But at that very moment, my sister-in-law cut her hand. A piercing shriek interrupted my daughter's whispered revelations. My husband quickly ran to check on my sister-in-law after hearing the scream. Seeing my mother-in-law and husband meticulously caring for her, their concern even greater than for my daughter and me, I felt something was truly amiss. At this precise moment, my daughter's thoughts confirmed my premonition. It turns out Liam had secretly slept with his ex-girlfriend and had a child before marrying me. The sister-in-law I called was actually the daughter of him and his ex-girlfriend. Ironically, while his ex-girlfriend was giving birth, Liam met me. From then on, he hid the fact that he had a child out of wedlock, lied that it was his mother's child, and relentlessly pursued me. We only got married 2 years ago, but throughout that time, Liam never gave up his ex-girlfriend, playing both sides. After our daughter was born, busy with caring for the infant, I no longer had the energy to manage everything, so I handed over the entire business to Liam. He took advantage of this opportunity to seize control of the company and change the entire staff, completely usurping my real authority. When everything was almost successful, the sister-in-law, out of jealousy towards my daughter, threw the baby, who was not yet a year old, from a height, causing her tragic death. Overwhelmed by this loss, I fell into depression and passed away. Furthermore, my daughter had experienced multiple reincarnations, but the longest she lived was only until she was 12 years old. Hearing this, my whole body trembled uncontrollably. It turned out she had always tried to protect me. It turned out she had endured so much hardship. If this was true, then in this life, it was my turn to protect her. Liam finished bandaging his sister-in-law's wound and returned to me. He didn't answer my previous question but said, I know you're struggling to take care of the baby alone, so I discussed it with Mom about finding a helper to assist you. It's a distant cousin of mine, Vivian. She comes from a difficult background but is quick and resourceful, has experience caring for children, and importantly, the cost isn't high, so we'll feel more at ease using her. His tone was not asking for my opinion, but rather announcing a decision. As soon as he finished speaking, my daughter's tiny legs started kicking continuously. It's coming, it's really about to happen. Distant cousin, my foot, that's his original lover. Bringing his mistress into the house, isn't it just for them to have their secret affair more conveniently? The funniest thing is that he and that auntie seem to particularly enjoy this. Mom, if you let that woman set foot in our house, you'll just turn yourself into a pawn in their game. I took a deep breath, maintaining my composure, and replied, No way. I think your mother takes care of me quite thoughtfully. If you're worried about Mom working too hard, we can hire another helper. Hiring a relative easily causes gossip. It's not a good idea. Liam still wanted to argue, but I immediately cut him off without hesitation. Besides, my mother also mentioned hiring a helper, and she will cover that expense. Liam's face became unsightly. He frowned and curtly replied, As you wish. My daughter, who had been crying, stopped and opened her large, dark eyes, staring at me unblinkingly after I spoke. Excellent. The decision not to let that woman into the house is absolutely correct. If she took care of me, I would suffer so much. She not only made milk with scalding hot water, but also mixed pig feed and Mom's confinement food, causing Mom to gain weight rapidly, reaching 100 kg in just 2 short months. Hearing my daughter, I gently patted her. Besides being stunned by her words, I also felt incredibly heartbroken. I didn't know how many times she had gone through life and death, but the fact that she remembered everything clearly showed how deeply those pains were etched into her soul. I kissed my daughter's forehead, and she obediently fell asleep in my warm embrace. Now that I knew who was friend and who was foe, the next step would be my retaliation. But I didn't expect that the very next day, as soon as the helper arrived, my husband's distant cousin, Vivian, followed closely behind. Vivian didn't have striking beauty, but possessed an incredibly hot and alluring figure. Noticing my less-than-friendly expression, the smugness in her eyes became even more apparent. She stepped forward, feigning delicacy, and said, I know you and Liam already have a helper, but Liam said he and I have been friends since childhood, and I'm pitiful and alone with no one to rely on. He feels sorry that I have no place to stay. Don't worry, I won't take any payment. I just need food and a place to sleep. I smiled, turning to look at Liam. If you've already arranged everything, then do as you wish, as long as it doesn't affect me. That evening, Vivian wanted to curry favor with my mother-in-law, so she volunteered to cook dinner for the whole family. Remembering my daughter's story about the pig feed-like food, I specifically instructed the nanny to take advantage of Vivian's distraction and swap my nourishing food with Vivian's. My daughter's eyes widened, and she continuously sucked her thumb, praising, Mom is truly amazing, like she has divine eyes to have found out that wicked Vivian put pig feed in Mom's food. For the next few days, thanks to the nanny always keeping an eye on everything, I ate with great peace of mind, and my daughter was also safe and sound. Liam approached me again. Wife, you haven't been to the company for over 10 days. You don't know, but the company is in a complete mess without anyone managing it. How about this? You issue a notice saying that I'll temporarily run things, and after your confinement period is over, I'll hand the company back to you. His tone was unusually humble, and it wasn't hard to recognize the flattery in Liam's words. But I replied, no, the company was entrusted to me by my parents. I promised them I would manage it myself. Now that Dad is gone, I absolutely cannot break that old promise. A little chaos is fine. In a dozen more days, I can go back to work normally. Besides, the current operational situation is still quite stable, and you don't understand things as thoroughly, so why bother and waste energy? I wasn't lying. Before passing away, my father had indeed instructed me as such. In the past, when Liam pursued me, my parents strongly opposed it, especially my father. He secretly told me that Liam was not simple, his intentions were difficult to gauge, and I couldn't possibly compete with him. At that time, love had blinded my reason, and I kept telling myself that even if his family background wasn't wealthy, at least he genuinely loved me. As for my father, he had simply been through too many complicated things and met too many cunning people, so he was overthinking everything. Now, thinking back, the saying, "You know a face, you know a person, but it's hard to know a heart," had completely come true in Liam's case. Seeing that I wouldn't listen, Liam returned to the company and started causing trouble. Not only did he act arrogantly, but he also refused to carry out assigned tasks. As a result, Manager Zio called me privately, expressing her dilemma and even offering to resign. But I persuaded her to stay. Manager Zio was a long-time employee, someone both my father and I trusted implicitly. Having recognized Liam's true nature, I didn't hesitate to side with her. I told Manager Zio, "You don't need to care that he's my husband, just handle it according to proper procedure. A husband can be replaced, but a capable person like you is indispensable." That evening, Liam came home complaining to me. He said that after I left, Manager Zio intentionally made things difficult, looked down on him, and assigned him only trivial tasks. But I consoled him. "Didn't you initially say you would start from the lowest position in the company to better understand its operations? Besides, Manager Zio also told me that she assigned you perfectly reasonable tasks. If you don't complete them, you must accept punishment to set an example. Otherwise, how can you gain the employee's respect?" After a while of talking, no matter how unhappy he was, Liam fell silent and said nothing more. Immediately after I had embarrassed Liam, Vivian appeared with a body scale in her hand. As soon as she entered, she glanced at Liam, then fixed her eyes on me. "Sister-in-law, why do I think you've gained weight lately and your face seems rounder? Why don't you try weighing yourself?" For the past 10 days, Vivian had personally prepared my diet food. Her intentions were clear. I just quietly glanced at her. It was obvious she had a double chin and a thick layer of belly fat, yet she began to inquire about my weight. To ease her mind, I nodded and stepped onto the scale. When I saw the number 48 kg displayed, I intentionally exclaimed, "Oh my goodness, I've gained weight, 2 whole kilograms." Vivian's smile widened, but she didn't forget to offer comfort. "Everyone's like that after childbirth. You'll return to normal after your confinement." Saying that, she contentedly hugged the body scale and prepared to leave. Liam also took the opportunity to flatter me. "A little plump is better. Women with some flesh are healthy. Why be too thin? You'd only feel bones when hugging." My daughter's voice chimed in. "What nonsense is this? Health is indeed important, but men don't like overly big women. Moreover, if Mom hadn't smartly discovered that mistresses scheme, and Mom gained a ton, I wonder if he'd still dare to lie so shamelessly. HMPH, that hateful woman also seems to have gotten quite fat herself. Let's see how much he still loves her." I replied with a smile. "Really? I think cousin is quite charming. Curvy where it should be, slender where it should be." Liam glanced at Vivian, his eyes inadvertently resting on her double chin. He frowned slightly and said, "No way, you're still the best." Before he could finish his sentence, Vivian, who was holding the body scale, suddenly staggered, almost falling. Liam, startled, rushed forward, intending to catch her. Unexpectedly, Vivian was a bit heavy and they both fell, him on top, her underneath. I rolled my eyes at Vivian, whose face was red and she was breathing heavily. It seemed Liam also felt a little excited. If I weren't here, they probably would have performed a live show. Realizing my presence, Liam quickly got up and helped Vivian. "Why so careless? Can you still walk?" Vivian took the opportunity to act delicate. "No, I think I twisted my ankle," Liam said. "Then I'll help you back." Watching the two of them leave, my daughter continued to mumble curses. "They're continuing their shady business behind your back again. It's a pity that shameless woman isn't easy to deal with. While secretly hooking up with Dad, she didn't forget to flirt with other men. He treasures Lucy like a precious gem. But the truth is, that child named Lucy isn't his." I was stunned to hear that. Didn't she say before that Lucy was the daughter of Liam and his first love? How is it now that she's not Liam's child? I used the excuse of having to care for my daughter and hurried back to my room. Currently, I was still in confinement. Furthermore, if I divorced Liam at this moment, he would have a significant advantage in asset division. To make him leave empty-handed, I needed to gather enough evidence. Therefore, I took advantage of their absence from home, bought hidden cameras, and secretly installed them throughout the house, while also hiring a private detective to investigate both of them. That night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. When I turned on the surveillance camera, the images transmitted from the camera sent shivers down my spine. I saw Vivian wearing a flimsy slip, leaning against the window frame while Liam hurriedly embraced her. "Quiet, your wife is right next door." Vivian chuckled flirtatiously, feigning refusal. Liam seemed very amused by this type of rejection. His hands began to wander restlessly over her body. "What are you scared of?" During the day, she's busy with the baby, not leaving her side for a moment. Now she's sleeping like a log. Besides, the more you say that, the more excited I get. Witnessing the two of them kissing ravenously, I clenched my fists, recording this moment as evidence. Just then, my daughter woke up. Seeing me, she joyfully flailed her arms and legs. HMPH, Mom found that B*TCH's weakness. This time, this adulterous pair won't escape. Staying up late in the middle of the night to do these disgusting tricks, it's truly revolting. Early the next morning, Vivian, as usual, offered to help me care for the baby. I handed my daughter to the helper and gently said, "The nanny is already taking care of the baby. I see you're idle and don't have anything to do. My mother-in-law hasn't been in good health lately. How about you take over her care entirely?" Vivian, though unwilling, nodded in agreement. But my mother-in-law was not someone to be easily bullied. Whenever her back hurt, she would tell Vivian to give her a massage. After meals, she would be picky, complaining everything was too salty or too bland. Unable to endure it any longer, Vivian began to silently complain to Liam. In response, Liam always had only one sentence: "My mother raised me alone until this age. It wasn't easy. You just bear with it for a bit. Once I get control of the company, I'll hire 3 or 4 helpers, and you won't have to suffer anymore." Witnessing this scene, I couldn't help but smile. The same patience to maintain harmony and vague promises of a distant future were now being applied to Vivian. On the day my confinement ended, the private detective sent all the collected information. It not only contained photos of Vivian and Liam entering and leaving hotels together, but also pictures of Vivian being intimately ambiguous with another man. I knew the time had finally come. Perhaps because I was back at work at the company, Vivian no longer needed to constantly supervise me. She finally realized that the person gaining weight was herself, not me, and all of this was thanks to my sister-in-law. After school, my sister-in-law saw Vivian, round as a ball, busily in the kitchen, and couldn't help but mutter, "Vivian, you should really look at yourself. You're this fat. You must be secretly eating delicious food behind my mother and brother's backs, right?" Being spoken to like that by her own biological daughter, though Lucy didn't know it, Vivian was naturally unhappy but also realized she had indeed gained weight. She put down what she was holding, stepped onto the scale. Realizing she had gained 25 kg in just 1 month, she almost fainted. Discovering something was wrong, she went berserk, cursing at me incessantly. Even when I got home, she blocked my room door to interrogate me. "Clara, why am I the one getting fat? Why aren't you fat? Did you tamper with the food?" I feigned innocence and countered. "Vivian, have you thought carefully about what you're saying? You're usually responsible for cooking, not me. I haven't even blamed you for secretly eating until you're obese, and now you're blaming me for tampering with your food." Vivian angrily lunged straight at me. I managed to grab her hair and deliver 2 powerful slaps to her plump face even before her hand touched me. My daughter, held by the helper, gleefully swung her arms and legs as she witnessed the scene. "Great hit. Wonderful, so satisfying. My dearest mom is the best, keep it up. In this life, she must pay double for what she did to mom in the previous life." Just then, the door suddenly swung wide open. Liam, who had just returned home, immediately froze at the sight before him. "What are you two doing?" Hearing the sound, Vivian seized the opportunity, broke free from me, and burst into uncontrollable sobs, throwing herself into Liam's arms. "Liam, look how sister-in-law hit me." I stood silently, arms crossed, watching her with cold eyes. Liam comforted Vivian for a moment, then frowned and looked at me, about to say something, but when his eyes met mine, he immediately froze. My daughter's thoughts? I'm dying of laughter. That darn scoundrel's eyes changed just by looking at Mom. Mom is really beautiful today, especially in that bodycon dress, every curve in the right place, face pretty, figure perfect, a dozen times better than Vivian. With such a beauty by his side, who would still bother looking at a fat woman? And sure enough, Liam immediately released Vivian, frowning at her. "Vivian, you still dare to go tattling? Don't you think about why sister-in-law hit you? Wasn't it because you caused trouble?" Hearing that, Vivian felt even more wronged. She angrily pushed Liam away and ran back to her room, crying softly. I wasn't the slightest bit moved by Liam's sudden favoritism, but returned to my room to tease my daughter. Unexpectedly, Liam followed me, slammed the door shut, and embraced me from behind. His voice was full of ambiguity, his hot breath fanning my neck. "Wife, your confinement is over and I've endured enough. How about," as he spoke, he began to grope me. I didn't hesitate for a second, slapped him directly across the face, and coldly asked, "Endured? Liam, don't think I don't know. You've been living it up during my confinement, haven't you?" Liam's face changed rapidly, but he immediately regained his composure. "Wife, what do you mean?" Today, I was here with the main purpose of having a clear talk with him. Therefore, I took out a stack of printed photos from my handbag and flung them directly at Liam's face. "Take a good look yourself." Liam looked confused, then bent down to carefully examine the images, and in mere moments he fell to his knees. "Wife, I was wrong. Please listen to me explain. It was all that woman seducing me. You also know that ever since you got pregnant, I've rarely been intimate with you. Over time, I felt restless and uncomfortable. And that day, I had a little wine, and that person led me on, so I made a mistake. I swear to you, it was only once. I've always loved you. Please forgive me." Seeing Liam still trying to deny, I immediately took out the video clips extracted from the surveillance camera and showed them to him. "Only once, really? Don't think I'm blind. After watching all this, obediently sign the divorce papers." Liam watched the video, his face growing worse and worse. Finally, he picked up the divorce papers and reread them, unable to believe his eyes. "Leave empty-handed. Clara, you're too cruel. We were husband and wife, lived together for so many years. Even if there's no merit, there's hardship. How could you bear to push me out onto the streets like this?" Seeing his eyes turn fierce, I immediately grabbed my daughter and ran towards the door. The helper also rushed out to block him. "Mr. Liam, what are you trying to do?" Liam only thought this person was an ordinary helper and reached out to push her away. Unexpectedly, the helper immediately locked his arms. He couldn't move a muscle. "If you refuse to sign, then we'll meet in court. Furthermore, this house is in my name. You, your mother, and all unrelated people, get out of here immediately." The helper, one hand on each, dragged Liam and Vivian out. Finally, even my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, who had just returned from the market, were also shown the door. I entrusted my daughter to my mother's care and decided to hire the best lawyer. Because the evidence of Liam's infidelity was too clear, coupled with his intention to harm me, the court quickly ruled to grant the divorce. This issue was temporarily resolved smoothly, but Vivian then sued me for poisoning, even presenting evidence from her health check results. The results showed that her food was mixed with pig feed, and the pig feed contained weight gain hormones, causing her to gain 25 kg in just 1 month. I scoffed at her foolishness. I hadn't even settled accounts with her, and she had already fallen into her own trap. Therefore, I presented the judge with the video segment recording her putting pig feed into my food. Vivian then accused me of defamation, claiming I knew the food was problematic, but still intentionally had the helper swap it for her with the purpose of harming her. But fortunately, with the lawyer's guidance, plus the helper's testimony confirming that she had no idea she had given the wrong food, these were enough to prove that I had absolutely no intention of harming anyone. Instead, I filed a lawsuit against her for attempted poisoning. Vivian tried to steal the chicken but failed, instead losing a handful of rice, and was finally sentenced to half a month in jail, received a criminal record, and was fined. Returning home, I immediately shared the good news with my daughter. She cheered endlessly with joy. "Mom is truly extraordinary, finally got rid of those bad people, and finally got free from that terrible man. Oh dear, doesn't that mean we won't have to die anymore, right?" Hearing my daughter say that, I became more vigilant. I specifically hired people to closely monitor every move of Liam's family. After the divorce, apart from no longer being able to extort money from me, their lives didn't seem to be greatly affected. Due to the side effects of the hormones, Vivian experienced uncontrollable weight gain and couldn't lose weight. After being fired from my company, Liam could only work as a mediocre salesman at a small, ordinary company. As for my ex-mother-in-law, she continued to behave as domineeringly as usual. Besides pressuring Vivian to give birth to a healthy grandson for her, she constantly bossed her around and nitpicked. When she heard that Vivian was pregnant again and it was possibly a boy, my sister-in-law completely lost control. She pushed Vivian down the stairs, her eyes filled with resentment. "It's all your fault. If it weren't for your stupid ideas, I'd still be enjoying a big mansion now, not living this miserable life. You're happy. You don't let me live a happy life, and now you even want to have another son to steal my dad's love? Don't tell me you're my mother. I don't have a mother as fat as a pig. Go die." Fortunately, Vivian was lucky. Although she fell down the stairs and miscarried, she still survived. Since Lucy was still young, Liam merely scolded her a few words and let it go. I knew that to avenge my daughter and me, a little more fuel needed to be added to the fire. That day, Vivian had just returned from the market when she was intercepted by a strange man right outside her door. Vivian panicked and demanded that the man leave quickly, but the man not only didn't leave but also threatened her. "Vivian, the money you promised me is several months overdue. Why haven't you transferred it yet? Do you think I'm a fool? Today, if you don't give me the money, I'll go find your husband and tell him. The daughter you bore him is not actually his. What do you think he'll do to you if he finds out?" These words were inadvertently overheard by her mother-in-law and sister-in-law. The mother-in-law, who had always considered her husband's stepdaughter, Vivian's daughter, Lucy, as her biological granddaughter, heard those words like a bolt from the blue. She rushed over to confront the man. "What did you just say? What is your relationship with Vivian?" The man, having decided to go all in, exposed his relationship with Vivian and even kindly reminded her, "If you don't believe me, you can take your son and your beloved granddaughter for a DNA test." At this moment, my sister-in-law's face also turned pale, and she kept mumbling, "No way, you're lying, I'm my dad's daughter." The man laughed, shaking with glee. "That's right, you're your dad's daughter, my good girl. I am your dad." My sister-in-law was furious, lunged to hit the man, but she was no match for him. He grabbed her and slapped her repeatedly. "You little hussy, you dare to hit me? Just like your hussy mother." After beating her, he didn't forget to continue threatening Vivian. "If I don't see the money today, tomorrow I'll make you famous online." Vivian, of course, couldn't give him money, and her mother-in-law now knew everything. When Liam returned, she would recount everything that had happened today. Liam, already furious about losing the opportunity to rely on me, now learned that his daughter might not be his biological child. He immediately took his sister-in-law for a DNA test. The test results came back 3 hours later, confirming the mother-in-law's words were true. Vivian and Lucy were both kicked out of the house by the mother and son. Of course, that man wouldn't let them off easily. Part of the reason he came to me, and partly because he genuinely wanted to seize this opportunity to earn more income. Because Liam used to have plenty of money when he was with me, Vivian also had no shortage of spending money. That's why Vivian had spent a lot of money to buy the man's silence. Now that Liam was broke, indirectly causing Vivian to also run out of money, the man wouldn't easily let this go. The very next day, he distributed flyers throughout the residential area, plastered with ambiguous pictures of him and Vivian, as well as scenes of Vivian being overly intimate with Liam. Of course, Vivian was never faithful, so her only being with one man was impossible. Among the pictures were also scenes of Vivian entering hotels with 4 other men, along with many screenshots of flirtatious messages. Immediately, not only Vivian, but also Liam and his mother became the topic of lively discussion after dinner for the residents of the apartment complex. As for Lucy, who was once treated like a princess in class, she was now despised by her friends. They mocked her right to her face, calling her a bastard. In a fit of rage, Lucy stabbed Vivian with a knife. Due to not receiving timely medical attention, Vivian died right in the rented house. As for Lucy, immediately after Vivian's death, she was arrested by the police and sent to a correctional facility. After this incident, Liam officially lost his job. Furthermore, with the development of the internet, many people uploaded those flyers online, writing stories about Liam's affair with a mistress and his attempt to seize his wife's assets. He became a contemptible figure in everyone's eyes. He applied for jobs at new companies, but no one dared to hire him, so he had to live as a freeloader. My former mother-in-law also collapsed mentally after that shock. She was melancholy all day and soon fell ill, bedridden. In contrast, my daughters and my lives grew more prosperous. my daughter grew up healthy and happy by my side. Every day, I still grasped my daughter's secret thoughts. She always whispered to me about every experience she had encountered in her previous lives and even more ancient ones. She even guided me on how to manage financial investments. Compared to myself, my daughter had endured so much, which made me heartbroken, so I only wished to exhaust all my wealth to bring her the most wonderful things in life. I no longer paid attention to Liam's family, but when my daughter turned 3, he sought me out himself. Amidst the crowd, he knelt before me. Liam, who once had a somewhat appealing appearance, now had a messy beard, was dressed shabbily, and his clothes were only cheap items. When he saw me, he pleaded in a voice full of humility. "Clara, I realize I made mistakes before. I was blindly chosen the wrong person. I had no shame. But based on our past relationship, and that I am our daughter's father, can you lend me some money to take my mother for medical treatment?" People around gathered, curiously waiting to see how I would handle it. Even my daughter, holding my hand beside me, warned, "Mom, never be soft-hearted. The first time will lead to the next. If you say yes, he will cling to you forever. In another life, we died that way." Mom pitied him, gave him money to treat Grandma. But he was still not satisfied, and when he couldn't get more money, he went mad and killed both Mom and me. I stood from a higher position, looking down at Liam, feeling only a cold shiver down my spine. Finally, I gestured for the security staff to escort him away. "We have dissolved our marriage, each keeps their own. If you still consider yourself a man, keep your distance from me." After sending Liam away, I still felt uneasy, so I sent someone to investigate. The person reported back to me that Liam's mother, having not received timely treatment, had passed away that very night. I worried he might seek revenge, so I hired bodyguards to guard us day and night. Fortunately, Liam showed no abnormal behavior. On the contrary, one evening, he violently dug up Vivian's grave and discarded all her remains. Liam incessantly complained, blaming Vivian for his current plight. Ultimately, he went to Vivian's parents' house, cruelly murdered them, then set the house on fire, choosing to die with it. When the police reported this news to me, my daughter was engrossed in watching TV, not taking her eyes off the screen. I gently held her small hand, regretting slightly. "I'm sorry, my daughter, I still let him cause trouble for you. We no longer have the opportunity to work for the government. You can only inherit Mom's assets. In this life, they are all dead. We will live peacefully and happily ever after, right, my dear?" My daughter didn't reply, just looked at me with her big, clear eyes, then snuggled into my embrace. I heard her inner voice again. "Whether I'm a civil servant or not doesn't matter. All I need is to be with Mom." Music.